to talk about this because a lot of times people go, Kurt, I need to make my bathroom ADA. So I try to help educate people as much as possible. But the ADA is the civil rights law. So last month, it was the 34th year anniversary of that law. The ADAAG are the guidelines that is followed, whether it's through the building permit process, building code process, plumbing, electrical, and so forth. Okay. But the guidelines are always a minimum. So you can always make it beyond, right? And the ADA guidelines, unless it's in the building code, it doesn't pertain to your private residential home. Okay. So you don't always have to put a grab bar at 36, right? If you're 6'5", then you've been bending way too low for that. You can put it at 5 feet here. You can put 4 inside your shower. It doesn't matter. Yeah, what works for you. Okay, your capabilities is always going to be the most important. So I like to put these kind of pictures up. So if you see this little red symbol over there, right? So yeah, this is not ADA compliant for a business. You know, so even if you see that symbol, it doesn't mean it's compliant, right? Unless it's a skateboard kind of thing. Okay. And these suction cup, they call them grab bars now, but truthfully, they're not really grab bars because they don't hold body weight and they'll have it in like tiny print on the packaging, right? So it has to be on a flat, smooth surface. Okay. So a grab bar by code will hold 250 pounds of push and pull, right? And you want to make sure it's solid into something structural. The misconception is you install a grab bar into a stud, a wood stud or metal stud, but not necessarily because majority of grab bars on the ends, there's 3 holes. The width is much wider than a thickness of a wood stud. So you'll never get 3 screws in there. Okay, so you can use either in-wall fastener made by that manufacturer, right? Or open up the wall, put plywood against it. Because in Hawaii, we're the only state that has single wall construction. So we typically will put 3/4 inch plywood to make the thickness of that. Okay, so there's various ways that you can do it. I've been to hundreds of homes that I've assessed, and I usually will walk around the outside. And when I see 6 screws sticking out the wall, I know that's the bathroom because they go right through the wall. Okay, so remodel or modification. I like saying modification because it's more specific to the homeowner, right? So remodel is just a basic change. There's no specifics to anyone in that house, no user, no homeowner. It's more of a want than a need. A modification are custom changes to a home specifically for the user's current and future needs, right? It is done with a thought of living in one's home safely, comfortably, independently for their lifetime. Because it basically gives you a choice whether you want to age in place at home or go into a care facility. Majority of homes, you don't have that choice because you either got to go up steps, down steps, right? The full bathroom is up on the 2nd floor and so forth.
They're hearing you on the other side.
Oh,
so sorry. Sorry.
yeah. Generation X is right behind. So in a few years, they'll start turning 65. So a lot of times within this industry, colleagues and I will talk about baby boomers, but I try to educate them that we're on the tail end of the baby boomers, right? If we're going to be proactive and plan ahead, is Generation X. So a lot of them might be your adult children, right? So you want to make sure that they modify their home. Otherwise, they're going to move in with you. It's not always the greatest thing, but okay. And one of the challenges too is healthcare, right? Because the more people we have within that age range, the more healthcare needs there are. And there are never enough care facilities or healthcare workers. Hasn't been for several years, right? So you want to age in place at home so you can live a longer, happier life. Okay? So by 2022, the state population is about 1.5 million. 20% is already 65 and over. Now, there is a term called super age society. That's when the country's population of 65 is 20% or more. So in our state, we're already at that 20%. Okay. Those with a disability, over 13%. Right? Combined about almost 34%. So as we age, we also get different kinds of disability. Yes. This one is, yes, state of Hawaii. Yeah. So yeah, as we age, we either have some kind of physical limitations, whether it's bending, reaching, and so forth, right? Or other health. So combined, it's always going to start growing. So this is a graph from the Census Bureau about age-accessible homes, right? So 1 in 3 adults. So most homes are not accessible unless you build it yourself. Sadly, today, even homes that are being built is built the same way it was 200 plus years ago, right? You got steps going up, high thresholds, doors not wide enough, cabinets to the ceiling, right? Bathrooms are not accessible, so you have to modify it yourself. Okay, so in Maui County, some information I got. So these are some care facilities on Maui, and then one on Lanai, one on Molokai, right? So with the growing population, you're never going to have enough care facilities. It's been like that for years on Oahu. There's a waiting list, huge waiting list. Okay. So if you're going to look at aging in place at home, always write it down. It's typically going to be the entry, exit of a home and your bathroom. Those are the key things. Because depending on your physician, if you have some type of disability or injury, they may not let you back home because you cannot safely get in your house or bathe or toilet. Right? So what are your choices? Be proactive, not reactive. And by attending here, you're being proactive, right? To get information on how to modify your home now. Either that or you live in a multi-generational household with others. I say others because maybe might not be your family, might be with relatives or friends or others, right? Or you move off island. And the less is hope for the best, but hope is not a plan, right? So this one graphic I have. Falling. The causes of falls are called risk factors. The greater number of risk factors in your environment, the higher risk of you falling, right? And most times people spend a lot of time in their master bedroom, living room, and bathroom. The number one place for falls is, if you have a tub, is going in and out of your bathtub, right? Because when you think about it, after you finish bathing, you put your hand on the wall that's flat. You're stepping over a tub edge that's about 12 inches, sometimes higher, to step over with 1 foot on a wet surface. So if you start falling and you don't have a grab bar, unless you're Spider-Man, you're not going to grab that wall. Okay. And those with shower glass doors, they're not meant to hold that weight. So you will fall on broken glass. So when you look at your home, you probably look at it differently after today, right? Look at what you can do to make your home more safe from falling. Okay, half or 2/3 of all falls occur in or around the home. That's even on the outside of your home. More than 1 in 4 adults age 65 and older fall each year. Falling once doubles your chance of falling again. And the reason is when people fall, they reduce their mobilization, right? So the less you move, the weaker your lower body gets, and then you fall again. Fire safety. Within a home, typically the exit door is the farthest from your master bedroom. So unless you can climb out that window, it's going to be difficult to get out. So for me, when I do an assessment on anyone's home, I look at where they spend the most time, which is where the master bedroom is, and how to get out of that master bedroom, whether it's taking out a window, putting in a door, but also making a pathway either to get out of the house or to the front, right? A lot of times people, they have that sliding door in the back, but there's so much collectibles on their sidewalk that they can't make it around there. All right. So, you look at always a safety egress. One of the things too, as we age, our eyes lens thicken and colors start to blend together, right? Whites, beiges, and so forth. Concrete looks all the same because it's aged the same way. So when you come out, you misstep, right? As you're going up and down stairs, you look at it straight down, they're all the same color, all the same design, same thing upstairs. That's why most people fall, because they misjudge that next step, right? And it's something simple to do. We just added some waterproofing and yellow traffic paint, right? It doesn't have to be as pretty as that, but there's a contrasting color that you see, okay? There's one before on the left and on the right. So we added a handrail, because most steps, you want two handrails, right? So you can go safely up, safely down. A lot of times there's only one, then you have to crab crawl down that steps, right? But anytime you change the way you typically walk, the risk of falling increases because nobody walks sideways all the time or backwards, right? And you can see where the steps go. Now in Hawaii, I could never understand why we make steps out of rocks, right? It's not the most even, or so you just take those rocks out and just put a concrete steps. Okay. So on a stairs or step, this vertical rise here is called a riser. Okay. So I typically try to make that riser about 4 inches to 5 inches, right? Building code is about 7.5. But as we age, we don't get to lift our feet up as high. Right? If you don't do any lower body exercises, you start to shuffle. So it gets difficult going up and down. Okay. Costs related to aging. This is for state of Hawaii, cost of care. 2024, and this is the median for the entire state. So it'll vary on every facility. In-home care is when somebody comes to your home for several hours a day, right, for the week. Okay. And this is every year. Assisted living facilities, nursing home, in a semi-private room and a private room. Okay. So when you look at investing into your house, your home, if you invest this or even this to modify your home, keep you from paying that every year. Yeah. The sad thing is most people don't, and it's hard for them to plan ahead. And one of the challenges I see on Oahu more, because I drive around all the time, I see an increase of homeless seniors and homeless people with disabilities. I see more wheelchairs, walkers, rollators out there than ever before. Healthcare benefits. So when you design a home to age in place, you reduce the overall burden on our healthcare system and workers. Right? AARP survey showed almost 90% want to live in their own home as they age, because you live longer and happier in your own home. Right? Reducing the risk of falling and injuries, reduces hospital visits, thus reduces healthcare costs, whether it's private, Medicare, Medicaid. Right? The more people that age in place at home reduces the overwhelming burden on care facilities and healthcare costs. A safe, accessible home reduces the risk of injury, not only for the care receiver, but for their caregivers. Yeah. As a former caregiver, when I work with families, one thing very common with us caregivers, we're tunneled vision on that care receiver and loved ones. Good? Yeah. Bad? Yeah. Because then you don't take care of yourself. You burn out, and you burn out slowly. And burnout means not only physically, but more cognitively. You get more short-tempered, things bother you more. But the thing is, the person you lash out is your care receiver, a loved one, because you're always around them, right? So if you're in a caregiving situation or you're looking at possibly being in a caregiver situation, look at caregiver support groups, right? Alzheimer's Association, I've seen the table there. There's several others from Parkinson's Association, right? Heart Association. Touch bases because a caregiver support groups are people that have gone through it or are going through it. So they can relate because you need to vent out that frustration, right? So we talk about respite care. Respite care is not going to the beach, reading a book, going to a movie because your mind is still back at home. It's socializing with others, right? Whether it's a care support group, friends, other family members to get your mind off of that. That's what respite care is, right? So those with disabilities are not disabled by their disability. They are disabled by the inaccessible barriers within their living environment. Okay. So I work every day, 7 days a week, right? And people go, wow, Kurt, you must love what you do. I said, no. I said, you fall out of love. It's more of a passion, right? And that's why I do it all the time. You know, so coming over to Maui, no problem. You know, I get up 4 o'clock anyway. So getting up half hour early to get here is not a big thing. Because for me, if I can share the information, then if you find a contractor here, you can ask them the questions on things that you've seen. And I tell everyone that I present to, you can email me, ask me questions, just remind me where I spoke or where you heard me from, right? Because I don't do work on Maui, but I can help people with questions that they have that they can go to their contractor and find out, right? Because when I do presentations for AARP, well, actually everybody, I don't really sell myself. A lot of times people will go, Kurt, you know a contractor? I said, yeah. It's just a habit. Okay, so for Maui County, right? This is for Maui County. Population 163,543. 11% with disability, right? And it can be from hearing, vision, cognitive, ambulatory, self-care, independent living. Okay, so with those, I think 8 care facilities, probably 7 on Maui to address 17,000 people, or even half of that. That's a lot of people. And those numbers never go down. They only go up. Okay, don't gamble with your future lifestyle. I put this up to kind of break your mind from looking at all the statistics, right? Okay, so where to start? One, you get a home assessment. Have someone assess your home, right? It can be an OT, a PT. Sometimes it's through a physician, right? But the classes we had, you know, we have people here on Maui that have taken the course, right? OTs. Yeah, then they can write a list of your remodeling needs, wants, and desires, right? So you always write things down. Otherwise, it's just a dream because you forget it. Then you can go down just like a shopping list, right? Otherwise, you go to the supermarket when you're hungry, then you have a whole wagon full of food that you don't know why you bought. Determine your budget for your project. Every project needs a budget. A budget is like any other budget you have. If you're going to buy a car, right? If your budget for a car is $30,000, then you're not going to go to Mercedes, Jaguar, BMW. You're going to go Honda, Nissan, Toyota, and look at the model that fits within your budget. What that helps the contractor with is they know what materials will work, what the scope of work of what can be done or cannot be done. That way it reduces the time it takes to determine what your final cost of that project will be. And the materials, right? Because some people, for shower walls, I like solid panels, easy to clean. Cultured marble is one of the most inexpensive solid panels that you can put on your shower. Then you can go to other solid surface like Corian, most people know, Silestone, Radiance, all these other manufacturers that make these solid panels, but they're about 3 to 4 times more expensive, right? So for me, a panel is a panel is a panel. Squeegee it off, you're done, okay? And yes. Anybody work for those one-day built-in showers? No? Okay. So it's always going to be a disclaimer on stuff like that, right? Because even for me, when people ask me how long it's going to take, I said it all depends. Once I do the demolition, I can determine what is going to happen. But those one-day things, it's like when you watch those shows on a DIY network and they do a bathroom or kitchen in a couple of days, everything is prepared for that show, right? So reality TV is not reality, I tell people. Okay? So for example, the project we're working on, we're expanding their bedroom into a more of a master bedroom, expanding their bathroom. But as we did the demo, the shower pipes were not in where they were supposed to be. So we had to actually break the concrete and dig. And then one wall that we had to move was a structural wall. So now we had to put beam and post. So it kind of pushed that schedule back like 2 weeks. So I tell people all the time, once you demo, you kind of know where you are as a contractor. But that's why planning ahead, when you have a budget, stick to a budget that you're comfortable with. Don't overextend yourself. Because if something comes up during that project, that's going to be an additional cost, right? So just be aware, okay? And then plan to reorganize your collectibles. So as humans, we collect. And you live in a house 40, 50 plus years, you collect 40, 50 plus years of collectibles. So I typically don't say clutter because clutter kind of means rubbish, right? But everyone here has something that has a meaning to it. There's a story to it, okay? But if you have something that is like that, then display it. Don't put it in a box, in a closet behind the other boxes. Put it on a shelf because then you can talk about it, right? So it's like, I'll use my wife because she's not here. We took our son to Disney World when he was 6. He's 26. We have 3 Disney World cups in our cupboard, and it's been there for about 20 years. But it's in the cupboard behind everything else, right? So it's her collectible, but nobody sees it because it's in a cupboard behind everything else. So if you have something, display it because then it's a conversation starter, right? Because as you collect things in a house, you put it in your closet, then you put it alongside your bed, then you put it behind the door. So now the door can't open all the way. Then you put it behind the couch, right? So there'll never be a closet big enough because human nature will fill it. That's why Costco, you have the big wagon and then the bigger wagon, right? They don't have baskets. Okay. What modifications can be done to make a home accessible and functional? Okay, so let me show you a bad ramp. Okay, so this one has no railings on either side. So when you come up, if you don't stop right there, then you go down there. You have this, you can stop, but then you flip right over and go down there. But the thing is, a lot of people will do what they need to do because it takes a while to get things done. I don't want to mention the permitting system, but yeah. Okay, so I've seen things done, and for me, you need to do what you need to do. Just be safe. Yes. Most times, yeah. If it's built in like this, attached to your house. But if you get those not aluminum, yeah, structural aluminum ramps that you see on mobile homes, offices like that, they're not considered permanent. Yes. Yeah. So those office trailer homes that, office you see at construction sites, yeah, they're not attached to that so-called trailer. That's all temporary, So I think you can order some of those online now, but if you check with local companies that rent or sell those office trailers to construction companies and see what they have, because you can adjust the slope on them. They're adjustable. Yeah. Okay, for the slope legal requirement per code is for every 1 inch you come up, you come out 12 inches. So if your house is on a concrete slab and it's 4 inches high, your ramp should be 4 feet. Yeah. If you can go longer, even better. Yeah. Because if you want to try, you can also rent a manual wheelchair. and you try to go up an accessible ramp, it's still difficult, right? So you want to make sure you're safe on using that. Okay, here's another one. Steep, right? Because this is about 3 feet high, so it should be about 30 feet long, but it's about 12 feet, right? And sometimes if you're, so I teach a class on aging in place, and I'll have half the students in a manual wheelchair, and the other half as caregivers. As a caregiver, when you're pushing that wheelchair, it doesn't seem fast. But when you're in that chair and somebody's pushing you, it's like they're running. Okay. So just be careful. And of course, you want to make sure your downspout makes a river to come across when you rain. Okay. Okay. So here's a slope accessible ramp, right? It doesn't have to be dramatically exorbitant. But this one here, we just did a concrete landing and the ramp went up, back up. Later on, we made steps over here, right? So this made it possible for the daughter to take the mom to the handy van. Before, the two brothers would have to carry her down the back steps around the house and bring her around, right? So you want to make it simple. Now, a lot of people, they have those 1,000 spindles, but you have to maintain that. So everything you have to remember that you put on your house, you have to maintain. Yes. The cheese slicing cables that you see. Yeah, those are more for aesthetics. Yeah, because they still flex. They serve the minimum standards of the spacing, less than 4 inches. Yeah. So. Yeah. So depending on how this is on Hawaiian homeland too, but this time when we send it to the permitting system, depending on what they're going to use it for, there's some variations on that. Yeah. Well, I haven't looked at Maui one, but. Uh-huh. Was that all the spindles? Yeah. I try to stay away from those. I haven't looked at the Maui one. Yeah. But email me. I can kind of check that out. Just remind me because I may forget after this. Okay. Here's just a slope walkway. The before is up here. So this is a step down actually. And the front door is here with 3 steps going up. So all we did was make a little bridge, slope walkway, right? And you see the color transition. So just to let you know, when I work with homeowners, they pick the final color. So since their house was yellow, they wanted their walkway to be yellow. Yeah. And you have handrails on both sides. And we put like a non-skid going across. This is out in Waihawa, so it rains a lot. You know, so it doesn't have to be super extravagant, but now they can get in and out of their house without going to the backside of their house, right? So you want color contrast on the transition, right? When you do concrete to concrete, you don't want to step up anything. And there's different ways of doing that. Okay, so a lot of times since the properties are small, you may not have room for a ramp, so you got to go with like a platform lift, right? So this, the lift will go straight up. You can exit out. Okay, this one folds down so you can kind of roll in. And they have different types where you can go in and out straight away, in, left turn, or right turn. Yeah. And it's all hardwired power, and there's battery backup. So even if power goes out, you can still go up and down. Yeah. Yes. Well, and one thing too, with these type of lifts, you have to have someone that's licensed as an elevator contractor, right? Same thing with a stair lift, because it's a mechanical equipment. Yeah. So that's always good to know. Yes. Yep. This is made for outside. Yeah, some of them you can have like an umbrella over it, and yeah, a lot of them go 2 stories, depending on what it is. Yeah. Okay, so you can do simple home modifications, replacing doorknobs with lever handles. So growing up, all we had was doorknobs, but after a while, it gets hard time grasping, right? So lever handles like those, they're called universal design. They kind of just blend in, right? Cabinet knobs and on the doors and drawers, just put handles. So you can just use your finger to open instead of trying to grasp it. Okay. Shower doors, replace your shower doors with shower curtains. Yes. Okay. I'll get to that. So shower curtains give you the full access of the area. Now, as far as grab bars, the correct size and types of grab bars. Some people call it balance bars, assist bars, handrail bars, but basically it's a grab bar, right? Depending on the person's capabilities, right? In a shower, typically you see a long horizontal one. But if there's going to be a shower chair or bench, then you want it sloping as a sit. And the reason is when you're holding a grab bar horizontal, right, and you sit down, then your wrist is like that. You have no strength. So if it's sloped, then you can work your way down, and you also can rest your arm on it to help you up. Right? So determining that person's capabilities, because you cannot always get 45-degree angles, 35. It's how they reach, grasp to determine that. And the length, and there's different types too. Excuse me? Right. Well, okay, so stainless steel grab bars, the coating, no, they're all made of stainless steel, typically. They make different types. Some have a knurling on it. Yeah. Some have rubber grips on the backside. So Moen makes one with a rubber grip on the backside that kind of helps with the grasping. Another company called Wingets makes one with the knurling, sort of like a weight bar. So that's like, so the smooth grab bars, yeah, you really don't want to use that, especially in a wet area, even outside for a handrail. So it'd be best to kind of change it. That way you don't have to put any coating. Because you put a coating on, you're gonna have to clean that coating, right? So any type of grab bar, if you're in the shower, just kind of wipe it down with a cloth, and then you won't worry about any kind of rust spots. Because the rust spots come from shampoo, soap, conditioner that's sitting on the grab bar. Right? Okay, and then you want to replace your light fixtures with integrated LED fixtures. So integrated, I'll show some pictures. People know the LED bulbs. Within the bulb is what they call diodes. It looks like a rice grain. Basically, now they make fixtures with that diodes, so you don't have to change any bulbs. So no getting up on ladders, right? Step stools, dining room chairs, baby chairs, boxes, or anything you can climb on. Yeah, I try to keep people off of ladders. And I'll show you some pictures of these fixtures, but they're supposed to last, studies have shown, they keep it on for 8 hours a day for 15 years. And nobody I know keeps it on 8 hours a day. Okay, other ones, no step or low step accessible entry into a home. So you were asked if you have a no step entry. So no step entry is similar to like this door, right? It's less than 3/4 of an inch. 1/4 inch or less is better for any type of mobility device, because even at 3/4 to go with a rollator, it's like a giant speed bump. Okay. Paint the walls and ceilings a brighter color to help reflect light. So in Hawaii, like I mentioned, we have single wall construction homes. And typically only either the bathroom or the kitchen is painted. Living room, bedrooms, all that redwood, right? What that does, it absorbs that light, so it's very dark. You need it to reflect light, right? So I did a presentation a few years ago, and this lady comes up to me and goes, "Kurt, you don't understand. That's redwood." I said, "I know, but if you paint it white, it's still redwood." And she's like, "Oh." So yeah, okay. Install in-cabinet hardware to make access to items easier. And I'll show pictures of that. These are hardware systems that you can put in your existing cabinetry if you have the space. and you can pull down the shelving to countertop height. Pull things out, right? Makes things much easier. Toggle wall switches to rocker switches. So toggle wall switches are the ones you just flick with your finger. Rocker switches are the rectangle ones that you can just tap on and off, right? But you also want contrasting colors. If your wall is white, the cover plate is white, the switch is white, after a while it gets hard to see. So just change the cover plate to maybe ivory or almond, right? Or have your grandkids paint it so it kind of frames that switches, okay? Handrails on both sides of the stairway, I mentioned. Okay, so here's before and after. So in Hawaii, a lot of single wall construction homes, we had this sort of bathtub slash fudo slash shower, right? So you step up 18 inches, then you step down 2 feet because they recessed the shower floor. So you just cut the curb and you can go right in. You don't have to change your entire shower for that, okay? Here's a before and after, just taking out the tub to put a walk-in shower, right? You don't have to change everything if you don't want. The main thing is getting in and out of that shower safely. So this shower curb, we typically do all hours. On the inside part of the curb, it's only 2 inches high, just for your shower curtain to touch. Right? It doesn't have to be like a high 8-inch wall, okay? And then you have solid panels and so forth, okay? So those of you that like bathtubs, how many of you here have soaked in a bathtub? Okay, that's good. So I tell people, all you need is one accessible bathroom in your home. You don't have to get rid of all your bathtubs. But what you should do is refinish the bathtub. So my refinishing contractor, we've been doing it for years. We put a non-skid material at the bottom of the shower, the bathtub. So you don't have to use rubber mats, fish stickers, seashell stickers, seahorse stickers, okay? To keep from slipping, because nobody cleans all those suction cups under that mat, right? I've been to 3 homes, and at the bottom of it, you know those wide black strips of non-skid that you see on steps? I've seen 3 bathtubs with that on. I don't know if they sit on that thing, but yeah, they had those instead. But yeah, you can just do that, and they re-epoxy your tub, and it's easy to clean, non-skid. Then you can soak safely. Okay, universal design. So universal design, and I've spoken about this for a long time. I still can't remember the definition. Is the design of buildings, products, or environments to make them accessible to all people, regardless of age, disability, or other factors. So basically, it's good design of products that blend in with your environment. So these are grab bars. They don't look like grab bars, right? This one here is a grab bar. That's a toilet paper holder, just kind of flips up, right? This is a grab bar, that is. This is if you have kids that don't know about replacing. You have that. These are other grab bars too. They're curved. They come acrylic with colorful rocks inside. So for those that like something aesthetics, right? It goes around your shower lever. This one is a grab bar, towel bar, right? Because a lot of times people will put grab bars in the bathroom, but then they throw the towel over it. It kind of defeats the purpose of that grab bar. Trench drains. So when you make a walk-in or curbless shower, sometimes you can go with trench drains where you can put larger tiles and it slopes one way, okay? You can integrate it, different tiles. The only thing I tell people is when you put larger tiles, that's a larger surface, okay? What keeps you from slipping is not just the tile, it's the grout lines that keep you from slipping, okay? And when I talk to people, grout, I don't like cleaning grout. Well, technology has changed a lot besides computers. We use a grout for years that when it cures, it's non-porous. It doesn't absorb water. So with regular maintenance, you don't get the mold and mildew, right? But, regular maintenance is not like my son 1 year kind of maintenance. Yeah, maybe at least once a month or something. Okay. Modification. It's tech, T-E-C, tech, yes. So cultured marble is different from natural marble. So natural marble and granite, they are very porous, so it absorbs. So you have to seal it all the time. Cultured marble is man-made with epoxies and resins, right? They put different color swirls, almond color, brown, purple, blue, red, but that's a solid panel, right? So it's non-absorbent. So you just squeegee it off, right? So modifications to a curbless shower. So this was a walk-in shower that we made curbless, right? So you always want to put a light above the shower because when you close that curtain, it's dark if you have only one ceiling light in your bathroom, okay? This, you see a handheld shower head, right? The hose, which is always the best. And you want the shower head to have like a pause button, not a pause dial. Because a pause button, you just press it, the hot water stays there, right? If you turn that hot water off, for some reason, it always runs away. Then it comes back. And on the side, I put a shower slide bar. So that's good. When you take the shower head off, you put it on the slide bar, you can lower it up and down, and you can be sitting down and bathing someone or bathing yourself or for your grandkids. Okay, from a bathtub to a curbless shower, right? So this one has a rain shower head, handheld, right? It's offset, right? So universal design, it just blends in. It looks like it works for everyone, okay? So this one here was for a gentleman in a wheelchair, but this doesn't look like it's for someone in a wheelchair. Anyone can go in, take a shower. Okay, here's one we did several years ago. This is where the husband was caregiving for the wife who had ALS, right? So the grab bars we put weren't for her. It was for him as a caregiver to help support him to lift and turn, right? So it's not always for that care receiver. So knowing how the process of caregiving is for that person is important because you want to enhance how they do it, not change how they do it, right? So this is what we put in the shower walls on all our bathrooms we work on. In between the studs is wood blocking. So I can put a grab bar here, here, there, shower chair. I don't have to go tapping on the wall to see if there's something, right? And this is the shower. Went from a tub, we put all the blocking. So it's a curbless shower, right? This flooring is vinyl plank flooring. They call it LVT, right? So 100% waterproof. Yes. Nope, this is a zero transition. So basically it's even. So from where the tile is, it goes and starts sloping back towards the drain, right? So as far as technology too, even the shower pan that we use, we've been using for years, it's made in Germany and it's already predetermined the slope. So there's no guessing, kind of really simple. Yeah. They make it with a center drain where a bathtub drain was, right? A linear drain. So this is all vinyl plank. So you can, easy to clean, Swiffer, non-skid. They're textured to look like real wood. That helps with the non-skid. Variety of colors, designs, and so forth. Yes. No. When we end the tile, they have what they call a Schluter strip where the tile butts into. Schluter strip, right? That a tile, and your tile contractor should know what that is. It butts into that. And then we transition another strip from the vinyl plank. So there's two different areas that prohibits the water from going. And with the wetty shower pan, the slope is already going towards the drain. Yeah. And when you do a shower from a tub, you increase your drain from 1.5 inches, like a bathtub, to 2 inches. So the water drains faster. Yeah. So that's my number one question people ask. What about the water? Unless you use yeah, it won't go out there. Okay, so within the bathroom, this is a universal design. So the doors will retract. So if someone needs to in a transport chair, right? So the wife didn't want it to look like it was for someone disabled, you know, right? So it looks just like a regular shower, right? And the husband who was in a transport chair could wheel right up and do whatever he needed to do. Okay. Integrated LED fixtures. So these little, that's the little diode things in the fixture. Yeah. So there's no bulbs to change. There's no ballast like fluorescents have that keep flickering your lights off and on. Okay. So these are all integrated type of fixtures. Ceiling. This one here is on a sloped ceiling. That's why we got the vertical wires to compensate for that slope. Yeah. And some of them you can change it from soft white, which is the amber illumination, to daylight or natural light, depending on what you want. Here's some more. This is a ceiling fan and light. So that would go in like a 10 by 10 bedroom. You can change the lights to soft white, ceiling fan. It's about 5 inches high. So, you know, the ceilings are low. You don't feel like you're compensating for your head. This one, about 10 grand. No, just kidding. But just under $100. Yeah. That's the thing. When products become more, I guess, used by the more manufacturers, price always comes down. So you can look on Amazon for that. Yeah. Right. So this one here, same fixture, but I just changed the illumination. Right. To kind of break things up. Most of them do. You just gotta look. Yeah. Okay. So this is what it looks like that. So this is an illuminated wall switch. So at night you can see it. You can kind of see it right over here. Right. So this is pathway lighting that when it gets dark, the light goes on. So if you're coming from your bedroom to your bathroom or kitchen, there's a clear pathway you can see. Yep, that's hardwired. Yeah. So I can always take one out and put an outlet there if I needed. Okay. So it's this, you know how it's different colors? It's called wainscoting. So a lot of this too is for wayfinding for people. Instead of the wall being completely white, they can see that contrast and follow that line. Right. So you kind of break things up. And the receptacles, the outlets, I usually keep it at 2 feet off the floor. Yeah. So you can easily plug something in. A lot of times with the single wall construction, the outlet is at the bottom, right? And people fall not from going down, they fall trying to get up. Yeah. So you try to reduce any type of bending, reaching, and so forth. Bathroom. So this is a master bedroom and bedroom 2 right next to each other. So this one, we combined it on a caregiving situation, right? So now it's one long room. Yeah. So this room right here, this window, is actually towards the front of the house. Excuse me. So we put a door there. Remember I talked about emergency exit out of a master bedroom? Yeah. That one is about 20 feet from the garage to get out. Yes. Wait, let me come back there. Okay, ask the question.
It seems like a caretaker might want privacy, and if you put them in the master bedroom that's eliminated, is that a really good idea? Or, I mean, it's essential that they get all the attention that the older person needs, but
Right. So every situation is different. So this one is a husband and wife. So the wife is a retired nurse. The husband started getting dementia about 4 years ago. So she has a separate place to sleep, but that's where she does the caregiving because we expanded the master bathroom, right, for bathing and toileting and stuff. So they have 2 other bedrooms in that. Yeah. So it'll depend on the caregiving situation on what you want to do. Because yeah, as a caregiver, you need that respite away, you know. But and these are all integrated LED lights too. Right? So this was the master bath. Okay. So when you went in the door, right on the left was a shower, about 30 inches by 30 inches. Then around there is the toilet and then the vanity. So that was a master bathroom. And that's why we had to expand it to where we have a barn door that will slide open. And now it's a curbless shower with a bench and the slope grab bar for him. Yeah. The grab bar, towel bars. This is a roll under vanity, right? So it made it much easier and safer for the wife now to caregive for the husband rather than trying to give him a bath in this 30 by 30 shower because he's about 6'11" and she's about 5 feet. Okay, so now it's much safer, right? Oh, sorry. So that toilet paper, oh well. I keep pressing the wrong one. Sorry. But that toilet paper holder is a grab bar toilet paper holder, the one I showed you earlier. Okay, kitchens. So this is a kitchen before. This is in a townhouse, first floor. And this is after, right? So universal design, anyone can use it. And this is for the same gentleman that we modified his bathroom that's in a wheelchair. But anyone can use it. You don't have to be in a wheelchair to use it. Right? The before, where he had to cook, and the after with a roll under. And this is an induction cooktop, and it's only 2 burners. Because most of us, well, majority of people I meet, you only use 1 or 2 burners in your house, so you don't need 5, right? And then you have a cantilever countertop where he eats. This is a tankless water heater to your left, so it never runs out of hot water. And to the right, you can kind of see where the cooktop, and he has a Breville oven. Right, so Breville is a brand name, but basically you can cook a chicken in there, pizza, because he doesn't use a regular oven. So that kind of worked for him. And these are pull-down shelving. So he can reach this as he's sitting in his chair because we lowered the cabinets. The pull-down shelving, this is from Hefele. You can order it online. Yeah, Hefele, Hefele. Yeah, and there's another brand called RevaShelf, which is REV-A-Shelf, SHELF. And they have distributors. But yeah, they have a weight limit, I think like 10 or 15 pounds. So it's not like you can throw like the 12 set dishes on top of that. Yeah, so a lot of times like 21-inch cabinets, the opening will fit a 24 and a 36. So depending on what you're going to use it for. Yep. Makes it much easier. Okay, you have a roll under sink. Yeah, and we move the faucet to the left side at about 10 o'clock because you don't always have to have the faucet in the back if it's hard to reach. You can move it on the side of you, right? And this is a pull-out dishwasher, right? Easy accessible. They make a single and a double. And it kind of blends in with the cabinetry. Right, so this part of the aesthetic part of it too. Okay. And this one here is his pull-out pantry and his refrigerator. So the pull-out pantry, he can pull it out, adjust the shelves to his needs. Yeah, so that makes it easier to organize your stuff, right? When you got to rotate canned goods or packaging. Multi-generational. So this is the before. This is the after. So this one here, the homeowner liked everything white. So yeah, it's nice. There's some gray in it, but hard to tell. All right. So this one here, multi-generational. We lowered the island in the middle because her daughter is 4'10". She likes to bake. So a regular countertop height, she was like that. right? So it looks like this. Pull down, it all has pull down shelving in here. Okay, has a swing door oven, which is much safer. If you're 4'10" and you have to reach over an oven door, kind of difficult, right? So swing oven doors are typically the best if you like to bake. Okay, this is a different pull-out pantry system. This is the pull-down shelving by RevaShelf. So they make it in 24 and 36. Some of them have trays for vitamins and so forth. Okay, this is the sink in the island. So this faucet is a flex faucet. So I can bend it and it'll stay in position. So if you need two hands to wash something, it's very simple. Yeah, I got these carrots from Whole Foods just so I could take my picture. Right, and you have the lighting. Yeah, so far. Okay, so this is inside corner cabinet or blind corner cabinet. Many of us have blind corners where something falls and you can't get it because your kids are too old to crawl back there. So basically, it's inside there. You pull it out, you move it to the right. The other one already moves to the right at the same time, then you pull it out. So you use your entire blind corner cabinet. That's RevaShelf. It's called an optimizer. Okay, so remember Hawaii handyman law. Okay, when you hire someone, if it's less than 1,500, a handyman can do it. You don't have to be licensed, but you should carry insurance. Yeah, make sure they carry general liability insurance because that protects you and that protects them. Okay. And of course, there's enhanced penalties against anyone 65 and older. And there's 3 websites, the AARP, which most of you should know, the DCCA website. This is where you can check if someone is licensed. Just because they say they were licensed doesn't mean they're still licensed. And that can be from your manicurist or whoever. And this is the National Association of Home Builders. So they have professionals like myself all over the mainland. So if you have family on the mainland, you can check if they're in that state. Okay. Always remember, hire a licensed contractor, check the current status of their license with the DCCA website, and get a written contract. Never pay with cash. Because if you pay it cash and they go, oh, you got to pay me, and you say, oh, I did. No, you never. Right? So there's no documentation of it. Right? Otherwise, you get this. Just a little bit. Right? So remember, the feeling of regret shadows the inaction from procrastination. I get all these sayings late at night. I'm like, right? But you think about it, it's kind of true. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. You folks have any questions? Yes. Uh-huh.
My son has Parkinson's.
Okay.
Doing this, be one level, he needs it.
Right.
And I have my permit had a birthday today. It's still pending.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering on the pergola shower, would there be difference in the concrete floor for the slab with the pergolas?
Are you pouring the concrete slab or is it existing? Right. So you're gonna, depending on the shower pan you use. So like the Wedi shower pan we're using, WEDI, Wedi. Yeah. And you can always email me. It's 3/4 of an inch. So we recess our concrete 1 inch so that we can build it up and make it even, and the tile goes right across. Yeah. And also you look at supporting the walls. I've done about 10 projects with Parkinson's patients. They're all different. All different. Yes. I don't. I had a colleague, but he passed away a couple years ago. So right now I don't know any other contractor that does. I tried reaching out to colleagues if they knew any, but so far I haven't received anything. But you can always ask for my email, and if you have questions, email me. Just say I was at the Maui presentation. Yeah. And I kind of help you guys along. I've done that before. Yes. Yeah. Not myself personally, but yeah, I know a lot about that. As far as when it's a single wall construction home, right? Going through the doorways. Yeah. Right. 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 It's a single wall construction. Right. So if it's next to the toilet, I'll add a 3/4 inch of plywood to thicken it up to 1.5 inches. Paint the plywood, put a little molding on top to kind of look like it blends in. Then I can screw it. Yeah. So you always want to thicken it up because redwood is soft wood, so it don't typically hold well, especially with stainless steel screws. Yes. Okay. That one? Okay. Any further questions? Yes. Oh, the handyman law? Okay. You got that picture? Oh, there you go. Yeah. You want to make sure they carry insurance even as a handyman, because otherwise, if they get injured on your property, your insurance may not cover it. Okay. Yes. Excuse me? My email address, only because you asked, because I don't promote. It's CURTK@hawaii.rr.com. Yeah. And then if you need a business card after the presentation, I'll be outside.